But we begin with the one-year anniversary of George Floyd's death. His murder by a Minneapolis police officer sparked a global movement for racial justice. Alex Perez joins us from George Floyd Square in Minneapolis, where Floyd was killed. Alex, good morning. What's it like there today, and what events are being planned?
Hey, Diane, already a busy scene here at the memorial where George Floyd was killed. We're expecting there's going to be a sort of a block party of sorts here, a number of people coming down. There'll be some performances, all aimed at celebrating George Floyd's life here. And I want you to take a look behind me here. You can see this is now a permanent memorial for George Floyd. There are, in some places, pictures of other victims of police brutality, and also just a lot of messages. People who feel moved to come here and leave their thoughts, express their condolences for George Floyd. That event happens here this afternoon. There'll be another event at a park in downtown Minneapolis. The Floyd family calling that a celebration of life and black culture. They've been having a number of events the last couple of days, all aimed at remembering George Floyd and sort of helping to move the racial justice movement forward. Diane.
And Alex, the Floyd family has hosted a number of events over the last few days to try to move the conversation forward. What kind of an impact are they hoping to have?
Well, Diane, you know, I've talked to the Floyd family members, several of them, and they say they want this to be not only about remembering George Floyd, but also creating some sort of lasting impact, about changing laws, about changing the ways police officers are trained. The one thing they say, they don't want George Floyd's death to be in vain, and so that's what they say they've been working on the last year. That's why they said they created the Floyd Foundation, and they say the work is really just beginning. They're 1 year into what could be several years of work to really have and see some of that lasting change, Diane.
And Alex, Derek Chauvin was convicted of Floyd's murder. He's set to be sentenced next month. The other officers involved were originally supposed to stand trial in August, but now that's been moved to next year. So what's the latest on all of that and the civil rights case being looked at by the Justice Department?
Yeah, so still a lot of criminal proceedings ongoing as we mark George Floyd's life here today. You know, that sentencing for Derek Chauvin is set to happen on June 25th here in Minneapolis, and the trial for the 3 other former officers who are charged is now set to begin in March of next year. But in between all of that is now this federal case, the Department of Justice charging all 4 officers with violating George Floyd's civil rights. When exactly that trial is going to take place is unclear right now, but still a lot of legal sort of maneuverings and proceedings happening as people gather to remember George Floyd. Diane?
Yeah, and Alex, you've been covering this story in depth for all of the past year. What kind of an impact would you say Floyd's death has had on Minneapolis as a city, but also on the country as a whole?
Well, Diane, I can tell you that Minneapolis is a different place than it was 1 year ago, and I think many parts of the country are a different place than they were a year ago. You know, I was staring at that area behind me here. That's where he took his last breaths, and I remember being there with his brother, Terrence, last year after all of this happened, and he was in tears, and the one thing he told me that he wanted to make sure was that his brother would not become another statistic, that he would not just be another person killed in police brutality. He wanted to see real change, and I think he's seen some of that. He said even that day he looked out at the crowd, and I remember him pointing out how he saw black people and white people and other minorities all coming together for one cause, and in that moment he said he hoped that would continue forward, because he felt that would be the only way that we can create some sort of lasting change in America. And I think they've seen some of that. The family has seen some of that the last year, but they make it clear that they want this journey of change to continue. This is the biggest civil rights movement we've really seen in this country in decades, and they're quick to point out that the fight for equality, racial equality, is not over yet. Diane?
All right, Alex Perez live in Minneapolis for us. Thanks, Alex.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.